right. The last webinar for the year. How's it going? As you join, please message in, tell us where you're coming from and how your market is doing, although we probably know the answer. It's the winner. Slow. Toronto, fantastic. Oh, Anthony Malafronte, our friend here. Awesome. Good to see you. Good to see you. A long time Highnote user. And one of our success stories for sending digital flyers out. Yeah. Was able to sell a listing after he used Highnote to send a digital flyer out. Fantastic. Good to see you. All right, where else is everyone from? I'm calling in from San Mateo, California, which is just south of the city, San Francisco. Give me 1 second. Fantastic. Jason, welcome, Dallas. I'm gonna give a few minutes for everyone to join. And Anthony, how's Tampa market doing? Is there still activity? Um, and then Dallas would be good to know as well. Okay, who as you're joining everyone, please let us know where you're from, where you're calling in from, what brokerage you're at too would be really nice, slow and steady. Excess overpriced inventory. Yes, there's a lot of that around the country. It's funny, except I mean everywhere, right? At this time of year, what happens is um, the stuff that hasn't sold is on the market, and there's usually one reason why it hasn't sold, and it's overpriced. Um, so uh, yeah, slow and steady excess. In San Francisco, what we're finding is it's a little different than the rest of the country because AI has really taken off here. Um, and um, AI is really taking off here. So there's a lot of job growth around here, and a lot of companies are moving here. And then there's a lot of tech cash outs. So OpenAI, they raised a round and they allowed early employees to cash out their shares. So you have a lot of OpenAI money floating around, um, just buying and renting stuff. So we're bringing things to the market now. I just brought something to the market 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago, and it's December, right before Christmas. Um, yeah, so San Francisco's a little different. Rents are through the roof right now. 15% increase in rents from last year, and then inventory is very tight, as it is everywhere. People just don't want to sell. So we're going to talk about a lot of that, and we're going to talk about a lot of strategies, how you stand out in this type of market. It's very tricky, and I honestly think it's the new normal for a while. So let me silence my phone because I'm getting text messages and calls, and we're going to get started. All right, let's see here. Where is my browser? Okay, this is the one I want to share. All right, let's get started, everyone. Second. All right, sorry about that, everyone. Okay, we're going to talk about how to be a standout agent, marketing strategies to win more listings. And it's a lot of this information is stuff we've compiled over the years. It's the spirit behind Highnote and why you spend a lot of time building great presentations, great listing presentations, buyer presentations, digital flyers, etc. And it's really an attitude. And so let's get into it and talk because it's very relevant to today today's market. So what we're going to talk about is learning tools, systems, and strategies you need to discover how top agents, um, and a lot of it uses Highnote, and a lot of it doesn't. But we're going to talk about that. Mastering your market, learning essential actions to dominating your farm area, and position yourself as the go-to expert. Innovative marketing tactics, discover creative, outside the box strategies to make your brand stand out and yourself. And most of you, your brand is you. For some of you who are brokerage owners or team owners, your brand is your brokerage or your team. And a lot of these innovative tactics are very low tech. They just require a lot of work. And winning before the meeting. You work so hard to do marketing, you work so hard to generate leads. Once you get a lead, close them. And we're going to show you a foolproof technique on how to win more of these listing leads by doing what we're going to talk about today. All right. You stay to the end, you get this free guide, shortcut to winning more listings and more buyers. It's a guide we made, and talks about how to build the greatest listing and buyer presentation on earth, bar none. And it's a free guide. You're going to get this at the end. And so let me just an intro to you guys. If you don't know already, I'm an agent as well. And I was a number two condo agent in San Francisco. In fact, we were invited to ring the opening bell for Zillow during their IPO, and we were so lucky to get our faces on the Times Square screen at NASDAQ. And we built a brokerage called Climb that shot up in the rankings to being one of the most successful independent brokerages around, and we were top 250 in the U.S. according to Real Trends. Then we were purchased by Realogy Anywhere, which is ironically purchased by Compass now. But we sold Climb to Realogy because we really wanted to take our brand and brokerage nationally, and Realogy promised to do that, or wanted to do that. So, um, and listen, we taught hundreds of agents how to win, and a lot of the reasons why I was a successful agent and had a successful brokerage is because a lot of the stuff that we're going to teach you today in this session. So, and listen. Oh my gosh, Roxanne is on this call. Wow, nice to see you. Mark Ebner, Denver, fantastic. Anyway, sorry, I just saw that message. Roxanne, yeah, anyway, good to see you guys. Number of home sales in the US, this chart. Now, this goes from 2006 until recently, and I got my license at this time. And uh this is when we decided to start our real estate brokerage during the crash, during the real estate recession and the Great Recession. We thought it was a great time to come out during this slow time for many reasons that we'll get into. But if you notice, the number of sales are also very similar to the Great Recession, and you've heard it over and over again. We're at a 35 to 40-year low in transactions and sales. And so now is like a really crazy time for real estate and real estate agents. And you need to figure out how you're going to survive through these slow times. It's just going to be slow. And the more I think about it, the more I think this is going to be the new normal. But I'll get into that a little bit more. So you have to figure out how to last through these slow times. If you think about it, we went through the greatest boom in a long time, in one of the greatest booms in history in terms of transactions. Interest rates were so low, the loans were almost free, 2%, 2.5%. I mean, can you imagine getting a 2.5% loan today? And that's what really fueled the market. So the last 10, 15 years were a boom. And now we're in a kind of a bust in a way in terms of number of transactions. And we gotta figure out how to get through this. And a lot of these strategies are going to help. Now, this is when this was our initial brokerage. This is what it looked like when we started, and we were able to grow into this beautiful, beautiful brokerage with a great team, and a lot of agents joined us, and we were really successful. Now, let's talk about how we're going to be successful. We're the little funnel on the left. The right is a big funnel, and it's a sales funnel. And in the beginning, we weren't the top agents. A lot of you probably aren't in your area, right? We weren't around for decades. A lot of you weren't in your area or aren't in your area now. And we weren't the most experienced agents. And we also hadn't been around for centuries. Some of our competition had been around for a century, and like Coldwell Banker, etc. We were new and always at a disadvantage. And so we always were thinking, how do we beat the top producers, right? How do we beat the top producers? And that's what I think about all the time. I'm in markets and in areas where there's agents who sell more than me. Well, guess what? If I'm up on a listing presentation against that agent, which I most likely will be, how am I going to beat that agent? They sell 10 times more to me in an area I want to be in. So I have to think about, okay, how am I going to outposition this agent? Why would a seller choose me over that agent? So I have to think about every single way that I'm going to do that. Now, the answer really is you have to be better, you have to be different, and you have to be unique. And you have to be, I'm going to repeat that. You have to be better, you have to be different, and you have to be unique. You have to be better, different, and unique in all phases. Every touch point that you have, everything from your business card to your website to your suit or outfit you're wearing, to your car you're driving, to your A-frames, to your sandwich signs, to your marketing materials, to everything that you are going to be, um, you know, everything a seller or buyer is going to see about you needs to be great and better and different and unique. And you need to take time to rethink and upgrade all those things. This is a perfect time to do it. It's December. It is slow. Nothing is happening right now, and you have nothing but time. So, you know, take your time now to rethink and upgrade everything in your marketing and sales systems. And we're going to get into some of these things. Now, I told you this might be the new normal. I'm not sure if interest rates are going to drop back down to 3%. Who thinks that's going to happen? That was a very special moment in our history. And special, I mean, it was an emergency thing that had to happen to save our economy. Um, but it's not going to go back to that. And guess what? Sellers that have homes that are locked in at those low rates are not selling. I just met a seller yesterday who reached out to me based on one of the letters I had sent to them. And they basically told me that when they bought in 2018, they got an interest rate at 2.25%. He's never selling, never selling. And there's a lot of people out there that are in the same boat. And so think about that. Those sellers, they own these homes at 2, 3%. Why would you ever sell that? Unless a couple things. One, it's negative in terms of cash flow if they're renting it out and it's negative, or they have some sort of life change. They're getting married, they need to upgrade, they're getting divorced, they need to separate, someone passes away. I mean, this home is going to be in their grasp for almost ever. You would never give up that rate. So there's going to be less inventory that all of us agents are fighting over all the time, right? So, what are we going to do about that? What is a number of things? You need to think long term now, right? Back in the heyday, I was the rabbit, running around selling everything because the market was so hot. But in real estate, and I know Anthony could speak to this because he's a longtime broker, it's a long-term game. Real estate is a long-term game. So you need to think about, you know, nurturing your buyers and sellers for a longer period of time and scaling your systems in such a way that you are going to be marketing to them for a longer period of time, right? And all right, let's talk about this sales funnel here. I kind of introduced the concept earlier. You know, winning listings is a classic sales funnel, right? There's a top, middle, and bottom. You first have to increase your visibility, awareness. People need to know you're in the business. And then there's a middle of the funnel. You need to capture these leads and constantly market to these leads. And then once you get these leads that want to sell or buy with you, you need to convert them. And you need systems for each of these things, right? So um, you need all these stages built out. And basically, I would categorize it as awareness, lead capturing and nurturing, and conversion. And all these things are really going to make you a great agent. Now, top of funnel activities. Let's talk about some of those advertising, right? Your billboard signs, right? If you're buying a billboard, your magazine art signs, your Zillow advertising, your social media, and then your networking. Uh, Networking, being out there, meeting people, right? Always being at events, being visible. A-frames. How many A-frames are you putting out all over town when you have a listing? Your open houses. Open houses are a form of advertising for yourself as a listing agent. I know some of you don't like to do open houses, but if you want listings, you need to do open houses. You need to meet sellers and buyers out in the field. There is no getting around it. Farming. What are the letters or how are you going to farm to sellers out there? Okay. Now, middle of funnel activities. Farming, right? Because you have their addresses. So what you're doing is you're dripping information on them every time you send a letter out or a postcard out. Newsletters, if you have an email newsletter. Property management. This is a form of, nurturing, right? You're managing their property. When they decide to sell, guess who they're calling? Open house lead capture. How are you going to capture people that actually come to the open house? Are you just going to rely on them to call you later, when they don't remember your name and they want to sell their home? You need to figure out how, when they walk in through that door, you're going to get their information. And then educational, be educational. How are you going to educate the public on what the market is going to do in terms of prices? How are you going to maximize the value of their home with, renovation tips, whatever it may be, tax strategies, etc. So, how are you going to do educational types of opportunities, um, sessions to really teach your leads and clients? Then you have the bottom of the funnel activities, and that is your listing and buyer appointment. This is the most crucial thing because you've done all these activities in the top and middle of the funnel, and once you get a lead, you need to close and you need to win it. And this is where Highnote comes in. Now, uh, remember, rethink and upgrade everything. You need a specialty. Why? Because you can't be good at everything. You just can't. So you need to be good at something. And uh, you know, uh, uh, if you are in Tampa Bay, you can't do all of Tampa Bay, right? It's a big city. There's a lot of neighborhoods in there. You need to be a specialist and known for something. Now, back in the day, I started a blog called San Francisco New Developments. So I provided information about new developments and in San Francisco. And why? Because that was the hot thing at the time. New developments were going up all over the city, and I wanted to be the go-to agent for new developments. And this was the website I had built around it. What is the hot thing today that you're going to do? Talk about. What are you going to be known for? Now, also, our brokerage, our branding was different and was very fresh. All the competitors around our area were a very traditional set of age brokerages. Sotheby's. We had companies like Hill and Company, which was a very traditional company. We were a more modern, kind of like a Compass look, and we were newer. We're almost like a tech firm, and we came out around the same time as Compass did, but we had a distinct and unique brand and look. And we reinvented ourselves because we needed to position ourselves differently. And that is where zigging, when they zag, um, you know, doing something different than others and standing out. Now, these are the different real estate client categories, right? These are the different things you can do. Renters, first-time buyers, homeowners, sellers, apartments, leasing, investment properties, senior, new developments. Back in the day, I did new developments. And what does that mean? That means you worked with a lot of buyers. We worked with a lot of buyers, first-time buyers, investment buyers, and seniors like that were downsizing from their house and they wanted to live in the city again. That was our bread and butter. Today, I am shifting my business to more renters and property management. Why? Because there are no sellers out there, or much fewer. And like I said, it's a longer term game. And shifting to a rental market in San Francisco is not a bad strategy. Why? Because rents are through the roof and very hot. They rent faster. Sellers don't want to sell. They want to rent. And guess what? I'm gonna help them rent their home, even though it's a lower category of product. But I'm renting that home because I could stay in touch with that seller who's eventually gonna sell with me. So I'm shifting my strategy and being different. Now, in our area, a lot of agents that do sales, really frown upon renting, being a rental agent. They see it as a lower category of agent, and they're like, I don't want to do rentals. That's just too low for me. Okay, don't do it. I'll do it, right? And that's the way I look at it. Don't do it, I'll do it. And you just sit around and wait to get a listing that are much fewer than before. So while you wait around and get a listing, I'm going to build my rental business. So that's what I'm doing. You know, another adage is, look, you can't be great at everything, but you're world class at something. Go figure out what that is. It's how you win. And do what you love, right, is another thing. Sell in areas you love or you desire to be in, and that is everything. Uh, you don't need millions of dollars, nor millions of customers, millions of clients, nor millions of fans. You only need 1,000 true fans. Real estate is super local. It's the most local business on earth. You can't get more local than your house, right? And you doing marketing all around your neighborhood, all around your clients' neighborhoods, that is super local, right? You're not trying to be Ryan Serhant, or maybe you are, but you're just trying to be the local expert. And so you don't need to build marketing that's going to satisfy everyone. You just need 1,000 true fans. And this is from Kevin Kelly from Wired Magazine. All right, AI. You need to use AI as much as possible and on everything as possible. I took this image of me in the suit, and I gave it to Grok to reimagine as a robot. And this is what it made. So you need to find ways to use AI as much as possible and everything as possible. And not just writing listing descriptions. That's easy. but everything, your images, your videos, your social media, your coaching. There's many, many use cases for AI, and actually teach a class on that as well. All right. When you're getting your listings, you need to be strategic. You need to stack your listings. And what am I talking about? You see these rocks on the left? These are, this is imagine your listings. So if you get one listing in an area, whatever farm you have, you need to make sure you get another listing in that area. Otherwise, your previous listing is going to be wasted in some ways because you're building your experience, you're building your portfolio. So you need to stack your listings. Listings need to build on itself, and your sales experience needs to grow on itself. The easiest way to get another listing is having a listing. So once you have a listing, you need to market that listing tremendously and widely. And you need to, it's not a good word, tremendously, but you need to really amplify your listing marketing so that you get another listing. That's the best way and easiest way to get a listing. And this top bar here is my listings in the specific building I was targeting. And my goal back in the day was to beat this number two guy. So I was trying to represent as many buyers and sellers as possible. And so that why, when I walk into that listing appointment, I can say I was the number one guy or I'm the number one guy. And that's, you really need to be strategic about that. All right. Remember how I said listing is how you get more listings? Well, it's because why? Because you're doing marketing off of your listing. And don't just stick it on the MLS. You really need to milk this listing as if it's your last listing. And the best listing agents are the most prolific and relentless marketers, right? I don't find the top listing agents to be the ones that do minimal marketing. The top agents are the ones that do maximal marketing, and they do more marketing than anyone out there. And it makes them look like they have a lot of listings. And guess what sellers want to work with? They want to work with agents who are busy in general, right? Of course, you have those sellers who maybe trust you, maybe you're a family friend or etc. But in general, the seller is looking for a busy agent. If you're selling a lot of properties, a seller is interested in that. It looks like you're successful and you're automatically going to be one of the choices. So you need to look like a top producer. And so you need to take your listing and market it and keep up that marketing up forever. If you stick it on the MLS and you take it down, guess what? Your marketing is gone. So what do I mean keep it up forever? Social media, more and more of it, YouTube videos, websites, blogs, any sort of promotion and marketing that you could put up and keep up forever. And guess what? It's your job. Your seller wants to see this. They want you to be marketing the home like crazy. So you're actually doing your job. And guess what? Buyers will see this and other sellers, other homeowners will see this. And right, the neighbors will see this as well. So keep doing that. Now, I'm going to give you some examples of how I do better marketing. And it's not the end all be all, obviously, but I'm going to show you what I did here. I have a listing now. It's at this building called the Infinity. And I took pictures myself using an iPhone. Now, I took some pictures, they look pretty good, right? I'm not going to complain. They're not terrible. But what I noticed was they were a little dark. They're black, a lot of black. Now, you could say it's the furniture, but they didn't come out great. Some of these came out pretty good, but not great, right? This was my picture. It looks pretty good. I liked it. But, I said to myself, is this really good enough? And, I said no. I want to bring in a great photographer. So what I did was I brought in this guy. He's someone identified, and he is outside of real estate. So he had a different eye. And look at his picture he took. He took a picture of the sculpture on one of the end tables, side tables, and he made that the focus of the picture. And so I love this picture. And even though it doesn't sell the home, it's selling a lifestyle. And this is very different than showing, the front door or showing the living room. And so I loved his photos. And he takes photos from all different angles. And I use them to supplement my photos. Now, the seller, he has an induction range, and he asked us to turn the induction range on and so that the orange lights are glowing. And I said, "Oh my God, you must be kidding me. Micromanaging the way I take photos." But it's a great idea. And so I I went back, did a second take, turned on the induction range, and took a picture of them glowing. He loved them. He also said, he gave me a lot of other suggestions, show all the storage. This is a very ugly picture, but he wanted me to do it. So I'm aiming to please, and I did it. So these are the photos. Now, um, this is an angle that I didn't have before, but I found this photographer who had a great eye, and I did that. I did a second shot. He took this photo as well, and he took this one, and he took this one, a close up of the drink cart, and and then I had him try to take sunset photos or twilight photos, and they didn't come out great the first time. They're not here. I'm not showing you here, but we went again a second time, and these are the photos that we took. And we happened to catch the night on a beautiful twilight photo night, sunset night. And look at these photos. They just came out amazing. And it took me 3 trips to the home, 2, 3, 4 hour sessions of taking photos in the home. But it was worth it. Why? Because I came out with these photos, and I'm going to just milk these photos and show them everywhere on Instagram, on my Facebook page. But I'm going to have these photos forever on my listing appointments and my listing presentations. And, in our market, luxury is kind of a big deal, and photos are a great way to showcase things. So you need to figure out in your market how you're going to stand out. But look at this, a close up of this sink and the fixtures. This angle, no one takes this angle, and this angle as well. So we really looked to amplify, really change our photos up and make them different. And because a lot of sellers are going to say, you know what, I really like your marketing and how you represent your property. So that's just an example. I also made this single property website. I won't show that, but so I said do better marketing, right? But also do more marketing, right? And uh, I'm going to show you this video we took. And this was the video that we took. And I was out there with the drone photographer, and I was saying, you know what? Why don't we make a shot the of the drone going to the unit? And he was like, "What? Really? Okay, let's try it." He took this drone and he made it fly right to the unit. And we had interior and exterior shots, right? And it's just getting creative, getting different with your videos. And this home has a lot of wallpaper in it. So the videographer, what did he do? He showed the wallpaper swatches right there. And my seller fell over his chair, and he loved it. And he wrote to me This is off the charts fantastic. So creative and effective at capturing so many great details. And it just required an attitude of doing great marketing, right? Doing more of it. And this is another example of what I did. It's a high note property flyer, and we have video headers available in Highnote now. But it's essentially like a single property website, but it's a digital flyer. So I send these digital flyers out to interested clients, and I show my sellers that this is the type of work I do. And you know why? Because no other agent in my area is doing as much as this. And guess who's going to win the next listing? That's me, right? And so it's really sort of a way to be do more, do better, right? And the seller loved it. And guess who's he recommending? As the next agent. It's going to be me. Why? Because I went above and beyond. All right. Now, putting up A-frames. This is really important. Um, it's one of the main ways you market a property and how you reach homeowners in the neighborhood, showing your signs. Now, they're only up for 2 hours during an open house in our area, Sunday, 2 to 4. Well, what if they're not home during that time? They're not going to see your sign, right? So you need to find ways to put out as many of these signs as you can, and put up more signs than all agents. A couple of agents in our area, what they do is they put up one or two signs right below on the building sidewalk right in front. And I said, forget that. I'm putting out 10 signs. Every sign you put out, I'm going to put 10 times more. So I got signs. I put out 11 signs in this area. Some agents put up only one or two. I put them out at every single building in the area, and it takes me half an hour to do it. That's it. I streamline the whole process, takes about half an hour. I know other agents in the suburbs, in areas where it's more spread out and more rural, where there's not a lot of density of people. I've seen top agents in our area put out 30 signs. They spend 2 hours putting out signs all around the neighborhood. And to me, that's super impressive as a seller and as an agent. And I wrote an article about that one agent. She puts out so many signs, and she put it out in front of every supermarket, every single coffee place, all over the place. And guess what? If you have only one agent, one listing, that's what you should be doing. If you have five listings, you should be doing that as well. The best agents do more marketing, and this is free. This only takes your time, right? Well, of course, you have to buy the signs. Time is money, but you don't have to spend on a magazine ad to do this sort of marketing. So really, really, really dig down and figure out ways how you're going to meet sellers. And I'm putting out 10 signs. The agent's putting out one sign. Guess who's going to see, who's going to have more exposure? Me, right? Now, so it's standing out. What are you going to do differently? What sort of marketing stunts are you going to do? We bought an Airstream trailer for our brokerage back in the day. This was back in the 2009. And how are you going to stand out? How are you going to be different, right? Be special, be unique. You do those things in your area, you're going to win more listings. Okay. Also, you have to reach sellers, and farming works in this digital age, right? Your seller sitting at home is not necessarily always going to be on social media and seeing your ads. They're not going to be looking for homes. They're not looking to sell, but they're opening their mail, right? So a lot of you have a farming budget. Double it, okay? Quadruple it. In fact, find a way to spend 10 times more on your farming. Why? Because sellers need to be told you are an agent in their area, and they need to see your postcards often, regularly. And I know it's expensive, but you know what's more expensive? Not having a listing. And this is going to win you listings, right? Now, beyond postcards, how about letters? I am doing letters now. I send letters in envelopes, and they're regular envelopes, right? Not with any branding on it. They're kind of nondescript, that you don't know what it's about. And I can guarantee you, like, one thing, it's going to be opened, right? And it's guaranteed to be read, at least a little bit. Not like a postcard where they're just going to see it and say, oh, another realtor one, throw it out. So I make letters, but it is very hard to do. Last night, I spent 4 hours folding letters up, stuffing envelopes, and sticking them together and printing the envelopes, and so that I could be on time for my open house next Thursday for this Infinity listing. And I'm not done yet. I have thousands of letters to make. Why am I doing that? Because it's hard. It is very hard to do, and it's slow right now. We have time. I have time to fold letters. So this is what it looks like. I have printed out thousands of letters. I'm folding them in half. I have my son helping me. I'm stuffing envelopes all fucking night. And you know what? I'm gonna get listings from it. The other day, I had someone call me yesterday, literally yesterday, and it was the story of the seller who has the 2 point something interest rate and he wants to rent his home. Like I said, I'm doing rentals now. Why? Sellers are not selling. Why? Because interest rates are low. But he got my letter and called me. I met him yesterday and we're going to rent his unit. But he also asked me for a sales evaluation, right? Just in case he doesn't decide to rent. Now I have a listing. And why? Because he opened my letter, right? He opened my letter. This works. You take time to do it. Everything, it's exactly, Mark, old school. Old school. You just do more of this, right? I was able to figure out how to send these letters out at about 40 cents a letter. And what I did was I went to the USPS, I got a bulk mail permit, figured it all out. Now, it's very hard. I can't do this forever, but I can today. I can right now when it's slow. And I just figured out how to streamline this, and I'm just making that. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Nobody in my area is stupid enough to be folding and stuffing thousands of letters in their home all night long. Nobody's doing that, but I am, and I'm gonna win as a result, right? And this is the type of stuff you need to do in this slow time. All right, go the extra mile to correct these undeliverable addresses. You do a farm, you get a return back to sender uh, letter all the time. I've seen agents get these. It comes into their office, and what they do, they throw it out. What are you doing? Fix the address. Don't just throw it away. Take some time to try and correct this address. What you'll find is that sometimes it's a very simple address mistake. Maybe the zip code is off. Maybe the apartment number is a typo. Because why? These addresses that you get from title companies, from all this software out there that gives you the addresses, they're from public tax records. And in the public tax records, usually in most cases, sometimes they're recorded incorrectly. And so what else happens? Everyone that gets this list, right? Other agents and things, they're also getting the wrong addresses. So if you fix it, um, if you fix this address, you're the only one that's going to be reaching the seller. And I've done this many times. Jeff says, isn't there a way to validate addresses? Sure, zip codes. But think about like apartment numbers. Sometimes it's not going to fix that. So it's like 123 Main Street, or even the address number. Maybe it's really like 12 Main Street, but there's a 123. Or maybe I've seen situations where it's like 123 Main Street 14B. The address is 14B. The real address is 14B, but in tax records it's recorded as like 148. Some silly little thing like that, right? And you have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of addresses. You're not going to double check all these things. before you send it. But when you get it back, you say, "Oh, this is incorrect," and you see why. Because it says San Diego, Wyoming, or something like this, right? Just Google them, figure out what their real address is, fix it, and send it again. That little thing could win you a listing. And I don't know how much your listings are worth in your area, but it's tens of thousands of dollars in our area. So I'm going to fix these letters and these addresses. And guess what? Nobody else is doing that in my area. No agent is stupid enough and dumb enough to be fixing these addresses, right? Like I will. But I think it's the smartest thing to do. All right, Anthony, what does the letter include? It depends. Market updates, maybe your latest listing, your listing updates, maybe news in the area. I tailor it up every time. I'm going through right now a huge Twilight Tour campaign, and I'm explaining what that is. But this is the letter I'm sending, something similar to this. Special event for a neighbor. I have a listing, the Infinity listing, that I'm going to have a Twilight Tour next Thursday. What does that mean? It's if you don't know what it is, it's an evening tour, not just an open house on the weekend. It's an evening one, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm doing it, and it's on a weeknight. Why? Because everyone does an open house on the weekend. Who does it on the weeknight, right? I do it on the weeknight because there's people that leave the area on the weekend, and they're not going to be around or not around 2 to 4, but they're around when they get home from work. And they could just drive when they're driving home to their house or their apartment, they see your sign out, right? And they got the letter. And they're like, oh, okay, maybe let me go check it out. And they'll stop in. And you meet sellers this way, lots of them. And this letter and postcard, whatever you're sending, is just another reason to market to sellers and neighbors. And guess what? Also, your seller that you're currently selling the home for wants you to do this. That's doing your job, right? So I do something like that. How are you going to be different? How are you going to stand out? Yes, a home shows differently at night. And, this infinity listing that I have, you saw those twilight shots. It shows completely different at night than during the day. But you want to meet them in person. And another thing, you're going to be the only person or one of the few people sending these letters out, right? In our area, twilight tours are sort of popular. But I'm also noticing it's a very slow time and agents are tired. Agents are not doing this anymore, but I'm doing it and, I'm going to win as a result. And then, when they come in, give them a reason to stay in touch with you. Yeah, we're going to send the presentation out, Pat, and a recording of the video. Now, at Climb and today, we realized one thing. The listing conversions need to be the best. What's a listing conversion? Well, it's your appointments and it's your presentation. We had the best ones. And why? Because we wanted to win the listing. Well, how do you make your listing presentation better? Well, I'm going to show you. How much time do we have? Only 10 minutes, but let's get through this. What we found was when you're armed with a great presentation, our agents win more, much more. How are they great? Well, they're gorgeous and visual. They're informative. They're on brand, and they're highly personalized. Okay. And our agents were more professional and they built trust faster and they stood out and won. And we having the best presentation turned our agents into top producers. And this was the one of our biggest secrets. And this is why I founded Highnote. And let me tell you why. This is winning when you're winning and not only were our presentations better, we sent more of them during the sales appointment. So this is how you win the appointment. The lead finds you, you have an initial email or phone call, you have an in-person meeting, you have a follow-up and a close. Every single appointment out there, maybe 99% of them are like this, right? So what we did was we sent a pre-listing presentation, not something in the mail, right? Although you can do that, and that's a good way too, but a digital one, and not just a PDF. It was a Highnote presentation. And what does that mean? It's interactive, it's digital, you could put video in it. It stands out. It's like a single property website in a lot of ways, but it also has analytics too. And then you have the in-person meeting, and this is where you do your dog and pony show, and you tell them why you're a great agent, and you listen to their needs, and you walk the home, and then you follow up. But what we would do instead of just sending an email or phone call is we built another presentation to win it, and we did it with Highnote, right? And this is how you stand out. Other agents are not going to be building another presentation, but with Highnote, a tool as simple as Highnote, you can do that. And that's why we built a tool so that you can win listings. So this is what we did. We break up the sales appointment into thirds. So we increase the touch points to the seller. And every touch point is a great touch point. This one is a Highnote presentation and another Highnote presentation. Other agents aren't sending anything. So when you send more and do more, you win. Period. And it's got to be, of course, great. Now, I wish I invented this method. Chris Lim, my brilliant partner, did. And this is what it looks like. It's a pre-listing presentation that's just off the charts. And, it's something that we built with Highnote. And we're not going to show everything in here, but this is what it looks like. This is what your seller sees and gets, and it's just off the charts a great way. And then we have a follow-up presentation. We do webinars about this stuff regularly. So, and why do you do a follow-up presentation? Because you're going for it. Are you just going to sit there and let them decide on their own, or are you going to try to win it? So don't just send one presentation, send two, right? Send the second one. Your competition's probably not doing anything like this, right? And if they are, good, then you're equaling what they're doing, right? So, and guess the other thing is you have nothing to lose except thousands of dollars, right? How many times you get back from a listing appointment and they haven't decided on you because they still have to meet someone or they're thinking about it, right? So follow up, send a great follow-up presentation. And this is what it looks like. We have templates about this, the things you should include in it, right? And there's nothing to lose, right? And a consequence of not having a good presentation, you just look unprofessional. And this is literally, no offense to this agent, but this is a presentation that's available for sale on the market. Now, maybe your sellers don't care, etc., but I think you can do better than this, right? Now, I would send a follow-up presentation immediately, Roxanne. Get back home and send it immediately. Build it, do the analysis, do the comp analysis, write up the strategy. Why would you wait? You can't be like, oh, 24 hours later. No, send it back immediately. An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, right? Think about it. It's just like getting a lead off of Zillow. I'm going to answer the lead later. No, you have to answer immediately, right? So I would just go immediately. All right. High note. It just makes it so easy. This is what you look like when you have to build a presentation. It's really frustrating. And you just give up and you send something like this, an email full of links and attachments. That's what everyone's sending, if they're sending anything at all. And guess what? Your sellers are looking at this and like, what? This is really confusing, right? And so we built High Note so that you can easily build great sales presentations, and you absolutely need a great one today, right? There are less leads, there are less listings. So there is less food to fight over. And with the same number of agents, although decreasing, I saw some comments on statistics from Mark. Yeah, very good statistics. And it needs to be digital. We're in the age of AI and cars can drive themselves. Why do you not have a digital listing presentation today? You need an app, you need a great PDF, of course. You need a great printout, yes. But you need a great online one too, right? It's 2025. You need something great that's digital and online. And I don't just mean a PDF, you need a high note. And a next generation real estate sales platform, digital, interactive, and AI, drag and drop, easy to modify on the fly. If you want a demo, Chris is on the call here. He can schedule a call with you to see. Mark, sometimes, of course, you want to close at the meeting, but sometimes you can't. They want to see what the comps are. They're interviewing agent number two, right? Or three, and they have to talk about it with their wife. They have to think, whatever, or their husband. You can't always close at the meeting. And of course, you want to close at the meeting. That would be great. But I've never found, I can't say I don't do it, but more times than not, the competition is strong in our area. There are good agents out here, right? Thank you, Pat. There are great agents in our area. Some of these people, they're lawyers, they are consultants, they could be CEOs at other companies. Why? Because you make a lot of money being an agent in San Francisco. And they are smart and they do a lot of marketing, they do a lot of this stuff I talk about. So I'm raised in this area and you need to come with more. And because you're not always going to win at the listing. If you do win at the listing, that's fantastic, right? But you don't always. So notifications analytics. Highnote provides you tracking. We track and tell you what the seller's reading. How important is that? Football is a game of inches. So is winning listings. All you need to be is a little better than the other agent. And having insight into what the seller's reading before your listing appointment and after can help guide you, and it will help you guide you into making the right calls and the right email follow-ups. All right, reading your buyer or seller's minds with real-time notifications. How many times, what's being read, what device, and when it's being read. All critical information when you want to follow up and close. Highnote lets you be the fly on the wall. All right, AI. We have lots of AI in here. 2 years ago, we introduced the Enhanced with AI once ChatGPT came out, and we have new asset blocks that you can build. Right now, we have build your brokerage, your team, your individual profile. Many more are coming, and it works in just a few clicks. Help write all these descriptions and assets, build assets, sales assets, for your presentations. So we also have templates, a lot of different pre-listing templates, a lot of different follow-up templates. Show your tech forward. Even if they don't read it, they know you're tech forward and they want you to be tech forward. And we had that comment once from an agent who sent it to an elderly person who doesn't want to see it on the computer screen. But she liked the fact that that agent sent it. Even though she's not going to read it on the screen, the fact that you did it shows that you do more than other agents. You have a better service level and you're on top of tech. That's what these sellers want to see. Um, Winning listings with high notes, so many different testimonials. It is guaranteed winner. More use cases, client updates, open house sign in, marketing, digital flyers, as discussed. Winning offers. A lot of agents use it to win offers, recruit, and closing docs and annual reviews. So it's like having 10 tools in one. Um, Let me skip these use cases. We don't have time to talk about it all. But you're not just buying a listing presentation platform, you're buying a Swiss Army knife for your business. We also have a done for you service where we could take any template and modify it for you or build you a new one. And we have pre-buyer ones, we have pre-listing ones, one-on-one meeting, fast turnaround time, and a multiple template styles, unlimited editing, and we could modify your PDFs too for a little bit of extra cost. We give you full high note tutorial, make sure you're on top and know how to use the product, and we guarantee results. If you buy this done for you service and you use the presentations as we describe, and you use high note as described, and if it doesn't help you win more, we'll refund your money, guaranteed. I will refund your money, and it works. Now, what's the cost? 33.25 a month for a year. If you buy a year, unlimited everything. Um, we also have the done for you service as discussed, 350 to set it up. And again, unlimited edits, and you're getting a guarantee from us as well. And listen, there's a lot of great ways to win listings, and I gave you a lot of them, but a great presentation is an easy way to win. You're going to convert more leads and easier. Okay, we have a special coupon HN Web 2025 if you want 20% off. Just go to highnote.io/purchase. We also have a free version that'll let you send limited presentations and you get limited analytics. But if you don't want to buy now, you could check out the free version. Just sign up right on our website. It's free. And then here's the guide, the free guide that we give away. Shortcut to winning more listings and more buyers. Just scan that. You're also gonna get an email as well. How to win listings before your appointment. How to make sure your listing appointment is successful. And and funny comment, Anthony. How to wow buyers before an appointment. Oh, yeah, we have that done for you, Anthony. So that can't came out later. Mark, the link doesn't have the .io at the end. So it's highnote.io/meet with Chris. Try that one. Schedule a time to do that. There you go. Yep. Thank you, Chris. And yeah, so Anthony, we have that service now to help you and refine your thing. All right, thank you. I'm going to leave it open for questions. Any questions you have here? Thank you, Pat. How many days are there? Pat, yep. What else? Let me see. Validate address. How does the letter include um, everything old? So yeah, Mark, we use Highnote for single property websites as well, and we're adding more and more of those features to it. Thank you, Roxanne. I really, really love your comments. Really appreciate it. Any other questions or feedback? Do you guys want to see more of this type of stuff? We also do an AI session um, as well. Stay tuned for that. Let me see. Mark said NAR is not stated to lose 200, predicting a total membership drop of approximately 25% in the next few years. Exactly. It will drop. No question. There's less money out there. Yes, spaceship cooking. Induction space. Yeah, induction. Yeah. Yes. Arizona Bay. Okay, got it. Got it. All right. We'll get a copy of the webinar. Yes, we will, Pat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Stay tough, stay strong, and play to win. Play to win. You're in this game in sales and you need constant motivation. That's why sales coaches exist. It's hard. It is hard. But if you follow these simple tips to do more and to do better, you're going to win more and more. So great. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. We will see you in January, everybody. Thanks again, and we will talk soon. Okay. And email us, book a time if you want more, and done for you service as well. Okay. Bye, everyone.